this is what I've been thinking about. It's, most people at the beginning of a relationship, honeymoon period, there's high sex drive on usually both people. It's not difficult to get aroused. It's easy, it's just fun. Then, time goes by and there's a shift. What are you thinking about? I'm looking at your face.
I don't know if I'm thinking about much.
You have that look. Then after a period of time, might be a long time for people, might be a shorter time for people, one person, maybe both, they notice a difference in their sex drive and it doesn't feel as easy or fun or, and I know that happened for me. I'm not going to talk about you because we know it doesn't fall into your category, but it did happen for me. And I remember really feeling quite ashamed about that. I felt like there was something wrong with me. I felt like there was a problem that I needed to fix. And then what would happen is it became a thing between us because you would take it personally. I guess I am talking about you now. Is that okay?
Yes.
You would take it personally. And then that would create conflict between us. We'd get into it. And then I would feel pressure, feel like I needed to, if I needed to make you happy. And then that would make me want to have sex even less. And it just became, problematic.
Mm-hmm.
And so sex drive, on my end at least, got less and less and less.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed like it was something that was, irreconcilable. Like it wasn't within my control. I didn't know what I could do. It was difficult for us to talk about it. And, we did sort of make do and do our best, but it was really when I started to see the relationship between my state of mind and my ability to, be sexually attracted to you and realize that, oh, it actually isn't about you. It isn't about what you're doing or not doing or how long we've been together. It's actually much more to do with how much I had on my mind at the time, and that a byproduct of me coming across the understanding of the principles and feeling a lot less stress in my life, a lot less anxiety, a lot less insecurity, just feeling more comfortable being myself. The byproduct of that is that really our sexual relationship got back on track, wouldn't you say?
I say you definitely. Why are you laughing?
I don't know. I just think you're funny.
Funny ha-ha or funny peculiar?
Funny ha-ha.
Yeah, I actually was just thinking that, there's actually quite a strong corollary between the arena of sex in terms of what we went through and in terms of what we do with our coaching now, in terms of trying to steer people in the direction of seeing how their busy mind is actually they're doing themselves a disservice, because it's definitely, I would say, that that where things were going south in that arena for us was that you had an extremely busy mind, as did I'm sure, because it became infectious.
It doesn't really become infectious.
But added to which, I think that we also probably took it upon ourselves, and probably you were a lot more proactive in that department than I was, to find all these ways and means where we could make it better. So it felt kind of very manufactured, like, for argument's sake, I don't know where you got this idea from.
I'm wondering what you're going to say.
No, I'll try and leave the more X-rated ideas alone. But for argument's sake, I know, and I'll have to be careful how I articulate this, because I think that it is important to connect, but you would have this whole thing about we have to connect before we get down to the carnal act. Those are my words, not hers, I hasten to add.
The carnal act.
But we would have to connect, so then I would have to go through what I felt was a very inauthentic and manufactured conversation to get my needs met. But it was just really the product of a busy mind trying to find some sort of solution through technique or some sort of mental process. When all we had to do is just relax and chill and just let nature take its course, and come, in the same way that we would suggest that people come back into their innate natural state of well-being, and try and be more conscious of their busy mind, is kind of like this. That was probably a great example of it.
Yeah, and it's such a, I think it's such a great example as well, because it's not something that's within conscious control. Like I couldn't consciously, like I could, if I wanted to build a muscle, I know that if I lift weights and the muscle's going to get stronger, something like I can kind of will through my effort to happen. But to get sexually aroused, I couldn't consciously manufacture that. It was really a reflection of surrendering and letting go and allowing the connection, the natural connection and the natural love, and to see like, oh, this is natural to my body. It's actually something that my body wants. My head, it might have been, having a freak out before, but when I really just relaxed and allowed myself to be present with you, like it felt really great.
Yeah. What's really interesting too, as a corollary between what we teach and that arena, is that sex is something that you really can't control with your intellect. It's very much an act of surrender, and if you are very much in your intellectual world, in that situation, you're not present. Period. And the same could be said for me. So we would both get wrapped up in our own intellectual world of worry and concern and how are we going to make this happen, and we were just getting further and further away for making it work.
We were feeling more and more pressured.
More and more pressured.
And then, all of a sudden I'm feeling happier, less on my mind, and then, oh, I'm having orgasms again.
I say, I didn't know you were going to go that far. I have to have some kind of sense of propriety.
You try to be your father.
God rest his soul, he's not alive to hear this. Let alone see it.
I knew that I might push the envelope too far.
Well, you can use the O word, it's fine.
Well, it was hard. I wasn't having them. It was
would
a
have
problem.
to be for you to have one.
It was a problem. And I didn't know that it was in my head. Like, I didn't realize how much of a toll all of the pressure and the thinking and the speed with which my mind was going, I didn't realize that was what was getting in the way.
Yeah. No. Well, I'm glad you do now.
And you fortunately didn't make a thing about it. And for you, I think you never really got too sped up around that. You get sped up around other things like the floor being clean and stuff like that. But in that area, you're pretty settled.
Yeah, but I was also conscious of there being a disconnect, and
Yeah.
and the disconnect comes from you probably being sped up.
Yeah. And putting all kinds of pressure on myself, because it was not just about pleasing you. I wanted to have that kind of pleasure too. I was really disappointed and like, what the hell's going on here? Isn't this going to be part of my life going forward?
Yeah.
So, what I wanted to share was just to give hope and to really point in the direction of how much our intellect and our mind can get in the way of pleasure, and especially sexual pleasure, and especially being able to really relax enough to have a deep experience of connection in that way.
Yeah. I wholeheartedly endorse that message.
And it was through having an understanding of how I was relating to my thinking that shifted everything, that there wasn't anything that worked other than that.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.